Hi, Mitchell Levy, Global Credibility Expert, and welcome to one of the favorite times of the week. Actually, I have many different favorite times, but talking to a leader on their values is one of the funnest things for me to be able to do. So I want to say hi to Dana Patton. Dana, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, glad you're here. So tell me, who are you?
Well, I am a business and mindset coach for the last 22 years, and I am training world changing business owners who are purpose driven and want to take their business from good to great.
That's who you are from a business side. That's not who you are. So who are you as a human?
Oh my gosh, that list is really long. I am a change agent. I am a philanthropist. I'm a speaker. I'm a mom. I'm a activist. I am a dog owner. I love my puppy, um, and love having inspiration in my life. I love being inspired and inspiring others. So, love the color pink. If you're watching us live, my whole studio is pink, and so that's a pink. That's a part of my brand and just an authenticity piece. I believe that authenticity is our biggest currency. So, I changed my brand color to pink, which was a little risky because I work with a lot of men globally, and I thought, oh God, is this going to land? But you know what? I'll tell you, I've never been busier. So I think you choose a color that is authentic to you and you own it and it works. So it's a little glimpse into who I am.
Nice. So tell me about the title you have, mom.
Yeah. Newly turned 16-year-old daughter. So I
Hmm.
lived through teaching, if you've ever taught a child how to drive, that was a really scary, fun time of our life. But something really cool about my daughter is when she turned 13, she said, Mom, you know, I want a car and my license the day I turned 16. And I said, well, good luck with that. How do you plan on doing that? And she kind of looked at me like, aren't you supposed to pay for a car? And I said, listen, I will make a deal with you. You pay for half and I will pay for half. So if that means you have 5,000, I'll put in 5,000. If you put in 1,000, I'll put in 1,000. And from that little conversation, fast forward, she started her own gourmet granola business at 13 and sold it at our local farmers market for a couple years and ended up, on her 16th birthday, had enough to buy herself a car. So it's been a really
Mm,
cool journey to watch her own that and earn that and buy her little dream car.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Why granola? What caused her to get excited about that?
Well, I've been a business coach for 22 years. What I know is building businesses. Um, Besides babysitting, a 13-year-old doesn't have a lot of options to get a job besides do something that you know how to do. So I was like, well, I can help you build a business, but let's build a business around something you know. And she's an artist, so we were considering some really amazing art that she creates and making an Etsy store and creating her art. But she's an equally great baker. And so I said, you know what? Everyone loves and consumes a lot. Let's do a really good granola, gourmet granola. And she's just a really great baker. And it's something that she could do with ease. And we created a little brand and packaging. And she sold out every weekend at the farmers market. So, and it was called Soul Granola, so good for your soul. So it was just a fun couple years, and it just really leveraged something that she was already great at, and we just built a business around it.
Love that. Well,
Yeah,
do what you know.
Yeah,
And if you do what you know that other people might want, you might make money at it.
exactly.
What lessons do you think she took away from that?
Oh, so many, and we've talked about it throughout the years of just how she's grown and what she's done, and first and foremost, financial literacy. She understood how to package a skill and sell it, and, how to own our prices. We weren't the cheapest granola in the world. It was, like, all organic and loaded with nuts. Nuts are what I learned is nuts are really expensive. Um and served in glass jars, which are really expensive. So, it wasn't a $5 product, it was a $15 product. And so, one, she learned how to own her prices and how to have a gourmet product, not just a mediocre product. But how to manage money, all the sales from the day of of a farmer's market's hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and how to pay out the farmer's market and how to pay her taxes, and then what did she earn and her profit. I taught her all about profit margin and how to pay, the business back. And so there was a lot of financial literacy, but also customer service. She handled everything from, greeting the people at the booth and packaging their stuff up and thanking them. And then she would always ask, "Do you want to be on our email list?" And so we built a little email list that we actually ended up, at first we didn't know what we were going to do with it, and then ended up being really, really great in the end because we created a subscription so that they didn't have to come to the farmer's market. People around the country could order it. So our email list became very helpful in that. So it was just, I think it taught her about people, sales, money, what worked in customer service and what didn't. Um, Early in the morning, we always had little samples. We took a note out of Costco's book is when you have little samples, people are like, "Wow, that's really good," and they get a jar. So just, learning those little lessons along the way was really helpful, and just also working together. We kind of found, I think, with any partner, you had to find what is she going to do and what am I going to do? And as the business grew, I had some of the logistics and the legal stuff, and she had the baking and the packaging and customer service stuff. So just all of those lessons. I certainly did not have that plan to start that with her or for her, but it just came out of kind of that organic conversation of, I think if we're present with our kids, there's such gold. And I could have just skipped right over that conversation, like, "Good luck, honey. You better start babysitting." But I really leaned into that and said, if you are truly want to buy a car at 16, you better start, and I kind of did some back math. And I said, a good used car is going to be $8 to $10,000. So you better get going on this goal. And it was about $150 a month that she had to save between, in the 3 years. So, and sometimes that was very, very easy to hit, and sometimes it wasn't. So it was a good lesson and a really special time for me as mom to have more time with her. So
So when are you going to start the conversation about retirement and how much you need to save for that?
I know. I know. My husband just retired this year, and oh gosh, that's a whole nother conversation. It took us to, the last 2 years of him working. He was in law enforcement, and you really have to do your back math of that and really make sure that you do the right math and the right timing and get it all right because, well, in his profession, you can't go back. So there's a lot of other things he can do, but he's taken a year or two off first and having some breath and just some ease. When you're in law enforcement, it is not a lot of fun, and so he has to take a break from that. And we're doing some traveling and some camping and just family things. And it's helpful for me. I have my 2 businesses keep me very busy, and so to have his support now, being at home and just being available is so awesome. Oh my gosh, so awesome. But retirement math, those finances, you have to really do well so it sets you up, right.
It's so amazing how easier it is if you start super early, very similar to the lesson that your
Yes.
daughter learned regarding the car.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when you and I first got on the line, you said something and I said, "How you doing?" And you go, "I can breathe." I'm like,
Yes.
"Okay, that's interesting." So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, in just a literal term, I'm practicing being present and breathing deeper, just on a general practice, general every day, right? But in the last 30 days, I've gone through just a feng shui, if you want to say, but just a purging, a cleaning out my house, my garage, getting rid of things that just do not serve me anymore, that do not spark joy anymore, that just are not going to be part of the future that I'm now creating. It's wild to be in this time right now of my daughter stepping into 16, super independent, and then my husband stepping into retirement, super available. Neither one of those things existed for the last 18 years. And so it is a whole new dynamic I get to live into. And so I'm just really creating space, not only physical space, clutter and stuff like that, but also in my time. Like I really purged things that groups or commitments that just really no longer serve me or that I don't want to be involved in it anymore. Just so I want more breath in my day and in my week and just that space. I think it's so easy for people to overload, overwhelm, overpack their house and their schedule and then they're like, "I have so much anxiety," or "I'm totally overwhelmed." I find that you cannot build a business, you cannot build a dream when your creativity is 0. And you know what creativity takes is space. Like, I have never met someone that says, "Yeah, I'm totally overwhelmed and packed, but I'm really, really creative right now." It does they usually don't go together. So it's just, it's been a really awesome 30 days of cleaning and curating my days and my weeks and my physical space to be a lot more with space and breath and flow. So we all need those moments.
So for the clients that you work with, how many of them have that sort of open space or how many of them are cluttered?
Mm. I mean, I work with primarily super busy CEOs, and so they tend to be very overpacked, overloaded schedules that do not create space for creativity, innovation. But the third thing is self care. And I am a huge advocate for what I call CEO self care. Um, because I had a stroke at 27 that
Mm.
put me on my knees and literally almost destroyed me and my life and my business, and I really had to learn from that time and that recovery that at the time, in especially when you're in your 20s, you're like, "I can do anything. I am totally indestructible." And I learned that lesson really hard. But, the majority of the clients I work with are mostly between 1,000,000 and 50,000,000 in revenues. They have whether it's 3 people, 5 people, 50 people on their team. And it's a lot of responsibility of you have payroll and you have sales and you have all these departments and you have clients and you have to innovate because you have, all the competition around you. Oh yeah, and you have 3 kids and a wife or a husband, right? So it's really important that self-care, mind, body, spirit, emotion, those four things are being nurtured, and you can't delegate them. You can't say to your assistant, "Go sleep some more for me," or "Go get a massage for me," or "Go run, 5 miles for me," whatever is gonna refuel those things, or, "Hey,
You
do
could say those words. It's just not gonna do anything, that's all.
Right, right, you could say it, but, "Go do 30 minutes of prayer and meditation for me." You're not gonna get that benefit. So, self-care is one of those things that I don't think a lot of CEOs, a lot of business owners take seriously until one of the 3 Ds happen: divorce, disease, or death. And, that's when you kind of have a slap of reality and you go, "Whoa, I need to, I'm working 10 hours a day, or I don't even have time for lunch in my day, or the last time I went into nature, or the last time I slept more than 4 hours." Like, we've got to normalize taking care of ourselves, because whether you're the father or the mother, our kids need us. And then your people at work need you, but yet you're killing yourself. And I wrote an article called "Is Your Business Killing You?" Because I think it is something that subconsciously we agree to. And then we just get in these habits of like overpacking, overdoing it, and we don't have the boundaries and the margins and the self-discipline to say, "No, I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm gonna go home and get some rest tonight," right? Instead, we just wanna pack it all in. So, it's I can talk about that conversation all day long, and I think it's part of, do you value your, emotional state, mental state, spiritual state, physical state, or do you not? Do you not care about it? Do you not even regard it? And for me, I had to have something really bad happen for me to pull focus and start to value it and then take care of it. Because what we value, we'll take care of. And if you don't value it, I mean, we all have lists of 50 things we don't value and we don't care about. We don't aren't going to take care of those things. So, yeah, it's really
How do
important.
how do you work with a CEO that hasn't normalized taking care of themselves, and how do you
Mhm.
work with that person to make them realize, or for them to realize,
Yeah.
that this is important without having any of the bad Ds happen?
Yeah. So it's a really great question and conversation, because one of the first things I do in a consultation, I always say, um, that part of working with me, one of the boundaries I have is you have to have a CEO self care plan. And that is an intentional act, daily, weekly, monthly, of taking care of those 4 tanks that I shared earlier. And if you're not willing to do that, I can't work with you. So it's a boundary I have right up front in my consultation. If they agree to it, then it's my job to hold them to that. But also, we create it together. It's not like I have this
Mm.
formula, right? Because what refuels me might absolutely not refuel you or them, right? So it's really a process of finding what refuels your emotional tank, your spiritual tank, your mental tank, your physical tank. Those are very different. And so that's that process of finding those. And then what we do is we start to put those in their schedule, because success is scheduled. And it's not just like we identify them and we're like, "Yay, good luck with that." That wouldn't work. So, process to identify them, and then we start to put them in their calendar and schedule them and hold them accountable. What happens from there is the magic. And it's the magic of their own breakthroughs of like, "Oh my gosh," with whatever their thing is that they just did. "I got 8 hours of sleep for the first time ever. I feel amazing." Or, like, for me, one of my things that refuels me is live music. it's both mental and emotional for me. So it depends on what the music is. But I know, like, if I go to a concert, for me, that it is such a mental and or emotional refueling for me, right? And when we have these wins of the various things on their CEO self-care plan, what happens is those wins become like addictions, right? They're like, "Oh, I want more of that. I want more sleep. I want more music. I want more nature," or that 20-minute prayer and meditation every morning. They're just like, "Oh my gosh, I can think, I can breathe. This is amazing." So you have to, it's like any process, you have to let the process work on them. And they get these wins and they get these highs, and they're like, "I had no idea that this reward would be coming from that thing." And, so it's, you know, it's a process, but it's fun to watch them win in it and realize, this is what's really missing. One of the most fun pieces of that is I make them do a 1-year vacation calendar, and talk about something that CEOs do not do well is, vacation planning. Um, and so we take their, usually they have kids, a lot of my clients have kids, so we work around the school calendar. And if you look at a school calendar, it has lots of 3-day weekends, and then they have fall break, Christmas break, spring break. So we work the plan around their time off. And what starts to happen, whether it's a male or a female, is they start to, as they go on the, not only plan the vacations, but go on the vacations, the reconnection to the family starts to happen. And you talk about a CEO on fire and on point, is that they
Mm.
feel supported and connected to their family. And you take a CEO, and I'm sure there's one probably listening to this saying, "I couldn't feel more disconnected than my family than I am right now, because my business is consuming me. And I don't know how to get out of this tangle and this rhythm I'm in." And the marriage is getting pulled apart. They're getting pulled apart to their kids. So when you restore that, what happens at work is they feel more whole, they feel more connected, they feel more happy, and they're on fire, and all this creativity and revenue and all these good, great things happen at work because home has this connection and this purpose and this fun back. So that's, I love that. And it seems like, why would a business coach, be doing vacation planning for their family? I'm telling you, it's game changing.
No, I like that. So, of course, you have to do that. That's part of the overall mantra of what you say you focus on.
Yeah.
It's consistent with your values. I
Yeah.
guess the question I had, okay, so you said something interesting. If when you first look at a prospect and they're not ready to deploy a CL self care plan, you're going to reject them. Now, let's assume they say yes, but they didn't mean it. And I assume what happens is you also build a relationship with the admin. And what happens if the admin says to you, he's got it on his calendar, but he never does the self care? What?
Mm. I don't need, I mean, I never talk to their admins, but first of all, I can tell, I mean, once we start working on it, and I mean, I talk to my clients every week. One, I can see it. And two, I could, if they're not doing it and they're lying about it, they have shame around it and guilt about it, right? It's just, there's no way around it. So I can give them another opportunity to choose of saying, we either get back on board with this and we start working this plan, or we can't work together. So it's not like, I mean, if they want to lie through it, I've actually, in 22 years of coaching, I've only had that happen twice, or someone said, "Yes, I'll do that." Then, 6 weeks in, they're still not on board and not doing it, and gave them an opportunity to re-choose and implement, or we can part ways. And it was part ways. So
Twice?
no, twice. Yeah. And no, for me, here's the thing. I'm not going to build a business that wrecks a family or wrecks your health. And I just won't do it. It's just my own values, my own integrity. I know what it's like from my own stroke situation. I know what it's like to kill myself for my business. And
Mm,
I just won't do that to someone else. So for me, it's, if you're choosing your business over your health and over your family, good luck to you. Not the coach for you. So it's easy, but when you hire, fire, and lead from your values, those kind of decisions are really easy. It's just like, it's not even a thought for me. So I bless and release, and they can go on their workaholic, obsession of working 10 or 12 hours and killing themselves and killing their family doing it. And if they cannot have the willingness to course correct that, I can't help them. I'm not going to build a business and pull their marriage apart or their family apart. So easy decision for me.
the most amazing thing as I'm thinking about this is having the intent and commitment to do the right thing, to be a servant leader,
Mhm.
and to stick to your guns when you actually have a client that isn't going to live by the values that, in essence,
Mhm.
has a disconnect between their external and internal integrity, which, by
Right.
the way, to me, I run quickly from that as well.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. And that's the power of values is when you hire, fire, and lead from your values, decisions become, really easy. When values are clear, decisions are easy. And when values are not clear or they're wishy-washy or that you can compromise on them, then decisions follow. They're like wishy-washy and you don't really know what direction to go. So that's for me, why values are so powerful is they help you be so clear, and especially around decisions. So
I
it's an
agree.
easy, it's
Hey,
good.
so I got two more questions. You guys
Yeah.
should stick with us, right? So the first is if there's someone who's listening, paying attention, they want to reach out to you, they're excited. What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, super easy. My name, denapatton.com, DENAPATTON, .com. And services there. My book is there. Some inspiration is there, and a lot of free content is there too. And my services around coaching and training, and my retreats are there too. So super easy.
Awesome. And then if there was a question I should have asked, by the way, there was a lot of questions I should have asked, but we ran out of time. So if there was a question I should have asked that I didn't, what would it be?
Oh, um, you should have asked me. Is that the question? What you should have
Yeah.
asked me?
Hmm.
Oh gosh. Um, I would say, what would be the hardest part of, you know, I would say, what is the hardest part of building a business? That would be there's a ton of questions I could have asked, but, for me, that would be the question.
Okay. And this is for you building your business or you building businesses with a coach? So you building a business for yourself.
Just
Something
generally,
you did, something you
yeah.
did with your daughter as well. Okay, sure. I'll ask you that question. Go ahead, Dena. What is the hardest part of building a business?
Well, we were just talking about it, but it tends to be the hardest thing is the vision, values, and purpose of a business, getting crystal clear on those and then leading every single day by those. It's all the other stuff that seems harder, like hiring the right people and keeping sales up and payroll and all the decisions. But what I have found working with thousands of business owners is what gets them off track, derailed, all that. It's not the people, it's not the sales, it's not even the systems, which, I can talk all day long on systems. It's the fact they are totally compromising on their vision, values, and purpose. That's what's gotten them way off track. So to me,
Mm,
holding that so strongly and not compromising on those 3 things is one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs to do.
I agree with you 100%.
You're
So I'm going to say thank you so much for
welcome.
spending time with us today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And listen, if you're still here, this is now time to spread Dena's cred dust. And there was a lot, take the ideas, the thoughts, the actions that really stuck out to you, something that you said, hey, I need to do this for me, and share it on the social media platform that is most relevant for you.
Mm.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I'll see you at the next episode of Leaders Living Their Values. Take care, everyone. Bye now.